What I want to do is kind of discuss how to do a rear naked choke, but the first thing we have to do is learn what the setups are for it. We have to understand how to maintain position, and again, since right now during this very specific time that we have all the regulatory bodies are closed, which means we can really focus on trying to explore outside the realm of these sort of standards for jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to do loads of illegal stuff. I'm going to look at things that not necessarily done because of the regulations, but also I'm going to explore some ideas that are the opposite of what regulations tell you should do. Okay, and there's a very specific reason for this. Number one, I want to expand my knowledge of jiu-jitsu overall, and when the sport comes back into play, then we narrow our field of vision. So that way we get really good at a specific rule set, but it's very easy for us to slip into a new rule set or expand beyond the rule sets because we're playing with all of jiu-jitsu. Imagine it like a pie, right? Regulation gives you a very tiny sliver, but jiu-jitsu is this entire world of activity going on. So we want to work into that larger world of information so that we can then drill it down to be as effective as possible. It'll be easier to spring between rule sets at that stage. So here's the rear naked choke position. Okay, let's look at the lower body first. This is where everybody really focuses, right? Now there's some debate about what's more important, lower body or upper body, but we'll break it into sections and you can decide. So here's lower body, 2 hooks in, right? And what happens is the tournaments generally will give you a score for 2 hooks in, right? This doesn't mean that this is the best possible position. Some of the better positions come with locking mechanisms, and they're pretty easy, right? They also tell you, or you've learned from your instructors more than likely, that this is not something you should do from the outset. And there's a reason for that. There's a good reason for that. So go ahead and do the ankle, right? The guy locks your ankle, puts pressure, and then your ankles are crossed. And so there's a braking mechanism there, or at least a painful lock there that could force you to tap. All right, so that doesn't mean that this is not effective. What you're looking at is this position where, just turn here. Perfect. Okay. What you're looking at is a body lock, but it's a circumferential control, right? It's like a ring. You're totally locked in there. If you're like this, it's easier to remove the position, right? So just pass the foot over, right? It's easier to start to break the position down and work for some defense, right? So this is assuming that you want to maintain both legs in the control, obviously. But what I'm doing here is I'm putting my feet inside his guard. Right now you're looking at a double guarded position, okay? It's not necessarily a back control in the regard that I'm on his back, I want to choke him. Both people have some offense involved. So there's my guard where he is in the majority of. Then there's his guard where I'm in the minority of, all right? So that means he's got this ankle lock, for example, which is the most classically one shown. So this has a time and a place, all right? It can be removed. But also I can keep a circumferential control, move to new positions where I still maintain a back control and still have better control than this. But that also stands to reason that I can do other types of controls. So if I use a circumferential control, right, and I connect my feet here, this is fine. Just turn. Okay, this is fine, and this is fine. There's reasons for all of them, okay? But we're just looking at the main points. And the other one you might already know is usually called a body triangle or a body lock. Okay, so you've got open-ended, more mobility. Closed, less mobility, right? And then I have another one that cuts off even further space, which is body lock, okay? So this one's made for attaching yourself completely, trying to eliminate any movement. So you have this idea where as I go through the progression of tightness, I want to make sure that I am either eliminating or giving the opportunity for him to move. And if I'm giving him opportunity to move, I want to make sure that he's moving in a direction or an area where I can, again, capitalize. So that's the lower body, okay? So try that out, work on it just a little bit to see what you can do. You probably will need either a grappling dummy or a pillow or some object to be able to do this on, just so you can feel the tension. And if you have a partner, even better. So if you can get one, that would be good for this one. Try it out, guys.